Hey there, kids. It's Mr. Zero, Mr. Zero's Terror Ride, if I could say it. Mr. Zero of Mr. Zero's Terror Ride. Hi. Allow me to introduce you to a new friend of mine. He's a little tiny. It's Schizo the Clown, the Living Dead doll. Oh, in a blue costume with red stars and collar and blah, blah, blah. Black balloon. And look, he's a sneaky little devil. He's got a knife behind his back. Ooh! I guess they had collectible Living Dead doll figurines that I never knew existed, and I was at Barnes & Noble, and they had 2 boxes left. 2 of these left. And, of course, you know, they're in a box, and inside the box there's a foil wrapper around these. So, I don't cheat, but there were only 2 of them. They were half off. So I bought them both, and I'm like, oh no, if only one of them had Schizo, I'd be so happy. And I look at the back, and it has a disbursement percentage, meaning what percentage are you likely to find? And I felt pretty good that I could get a Schizo, just because I felt good that day. There was a 14% to get the original. This was the special one, only 6% chance to get that, I guess is what they were saying. 6% chance. And I got this one. Would have been really cool if I had gotten both, but I'll take this one, you know, even though he's not, and the costume I prefer. But, so he's now my little friend, and I gotta find a place to hide him so he doesn't get lost. He'll sit by my Joker. I also got the bobble-headed Joker. Oh, it took me forever to find this. There, now you can see him. Now he's bobbly. Ooh! But I digress. That's not the reason why I started this video. I finally have done something that I've been told to do by quite a few people. I finally sat down because I was on the computer, and I'm like, this is me on the computer. And I got to Facebook, and someone had already mentioned that they just barely did this. So I went and checked out the 2013 remake of Evil Dead. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. I will definitely try to go out and see that. I bought the original Evil Dead back when I was like 19 or 20 years old. Found it in a bin at a video store. Not like a Blockbuster, kiddies. No, they used to have actual, like, you could go to a store and buy VHS cassettes. That was the way you watched movies. I had a whole bunch of them. You know, fortunately, Blu-ray hasn't taken off that well, but, and I'll just keep gesticulating like this. But I had bought it for a very small price, definitely under 10, probably even under $5. And I let my friend Brandon borrow it, and he said he was so scared that he had to watch Disney's Jungle Book right after to kind of so he could go to sleep. I don't find it that scary. I mean, you know, a lot of horror movies don't work on me. I have one thing that will creep me out, and it will creep me out every time. And I've said it several times. Creepy old witchy women creep me out. And not in real life, just in movies if it's done right. I'm talking Dead Silence, Insidious. This new Mama should do it. Those scenes from The Shining with the old hag. It has been something since I was a child. Something, you know, since I remember being really young and seeing one Halloween they had a whole setup in the local Smiths, and they had a mannequin witch there that creeped me out, and the witch. My second grade teacher, she dressed up as a witch for a Halloween performance where we sang a whole bunch of songs, including "There's No Such Thing as a Witch." At the end of the song, she pops out in a witch's costume. It tells us all not to react to her as if she was like a friend of ours or anything. Of course, when she says "bye-bye," then we're all like, "bye." Well, I wasn't, but witches always creep me out. Hansel and Gretel. If you can get a really well-made Hansel and Gretel story, that'll scare me. Yep. Yep. But I digress yet again. That's my fear. Now let's see. I've talked about Schizo. I've talked about the remake, and I've talked about my fear. Too much. People say you're rude because I'm scared of creepy old women. Even that scene in Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows, Part 1, where it's the snake, but it's like an old woman, that scared me until it became a snake. Isn't that weird? And I'm sitting there with my wife and we're watching. I'm like, that's not a woman, that's a snake. And she's so creepy. Then it turns into a snake. I was like, I'm not creeped out anymore. Interesting. But I digress my digression. And I'm drinking Coke from Mickey D's. So what I wanted to really talk about, what I wanted to make this video about, is remakes, though. I've seen a lot of people on my Facebook complain about remakes. And what's odd is some of them are like anarcho-capitalists and huge, like, let the market do what it will. And then they'll complain about remakes. And I'm like, well, that's what the invisible hand really wants, People go and see them. It's a sure bet on money, and that's why they keep being made. There are plenty of original movies that you can watch. They just don't make it into theaters because no one's going to put that much investment into them. You can go and I've seen plenty of weird and original movies on Netflix and just going to Redbox like, I've never heard of this. What's this? No, but everything that ends up in theaters tends to be a remake or a sequel, and that's because they feel like it's a sure bet, and they tend to pay off. Especially, you add a star that's been popped up, and or even not. I mean, there are recognizable faces in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I thought it was great, although a lot of people didn't, but I liked it. But that's just it. People complain about remakes. I think if a remake is done well, then it's worth watching. And if it destroys the original for you, then that's your problem, I think. As I said, I've watched the remake, and I enjoy and love the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, and I still have the original box set, and I watch them quite a lot. I'm trying to think of other remakes that I think are worthwhile that I like. Well, we're already remaking Spider-Man yet again. There's already a remake. I've heard that they want to do Batman again, and yeah, the Batmans. There's an excellent example. I don't own Batman Begins or Beginning or whatever it's called. I liked it. I just never felt like I needed it. But I do have The Dark Knight, and I own The Dark Knight Rises, though I haven't watched it all the way through yet, because I'm lazy like that. No Joker, not putting my time into it. I think there are plenty of movies that could be remade that no one has ever heard of or have thought about remaking. One that I've been saying since the earlier part of the last decade was Phantasm needs to be remade. I think that movie would be awesome if it had some decent money behind it. And it's such a weird kind of a horror movie, weird kind of a plot. And just, yeah, throw some money at it and it could be a pretty good one, I think. Yep, that's what I think. Especially now that we have like the special effects that we do now. That movie would be a lot. I bet people would watch it. They'd watch Phantasm. Phantasm, the commercials, I can't remember which one it was that I saw when I was a kid. It might have been the sequel. But I can't quite remember which one it was, but I do remember that they had a commercial for it on when I was a kid, and I remember the sphere with the blade sticking out going through doors, and I remember watching a character and they're slamming doors and it kept popping through the doors and it was a POV shot of the sphere and I thought, you know, it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. So yeah, I think that one would be good. What if they remade the original Hellraiser? I think that one should be left alone. I do think that that one, it was directed by the writer, so any artistic license he took with it was his to take, you know. But imagine with a better budget what they could do. Um, Now another one that could do with it is Nightbreed. But I hear there's going to be a director's cut. That movie, if you know the history of that, that movie could have been awesome, but because Clive Barker wasn't allowed to make the movie he wanted to, it's not that good. And you can watch and feel that it's incomplete. When you watch that movie, it's like, this is jumping around a lot. It seems very incomplete and it seems too short. That movie could do with an updating. And they're going to do it now. They're going to do a director's cut, which is long overdue. I remember hearing that there was a petition for it. I might have even done something with the petition, but yeah, can't wait to see that. I'll have to own that one. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I have 3 vlogs to make a week, and this is my first one. So thanks for watching. And communication.